Aloha, everybody. So today I'm going to talk about Kona coffee. This is something that is a big deal here in Kona. It's actually going back over 100 years, probably almost 200 years. And it's probably why Kona is what it is today. Been a lot of people, I'm showing you my iced coffee because I don't like hot coffee, and it is Hawaii after all. They had people who worked the sugarcane farms, immigrants, and then when the sugarcane went away, they all started to farm coffee. And through their efforts and strict farming practices, they basically started to make some of the best coffee in the world. Now, Kona, I'll show you some of the beans here. Kona is nearly out of the tropics, and coffee only grows in the tropics. So generally, you have to have coffee that grows between 3,000 and 5,000 feet to get really good coffee beans. Now here in Kona, since it's further north, you can grow your coffee lower. However, as I will explain in a little bit, our newest coffee, I went and found the highest coffee farm on the island to compare. So just to let you know how we make our coffee. So we have a Cuisinart coffee maker, drip coffee maker, but it does have a thing to grind the beans. So you put the whole beans in, and then it has a burr grinder there, which is a better type of grinder. It's a better grind, and then it basically comes into this compartment, and you have a basket here. The grinds fall into it, and then it just turns into a normal drip coffee maker. As a matter of fact, you could just put your own grinds in there and make coffee, so it doesn't have to be a bean. But because we have them here and it's more fresh to do it that way, that's why we've chosen to get this coffee maker. And I should say, before we moved here, I did not drink coffee at all because it just was too bitter for me. I actually would take a double shot of espresso, have that shaken over ice, then pour it into a cup so I could do a shot, so I could get the just shot of caffeine but not have to taste the coffee. But since I've been here, it's not bitter at all. It's actually almost more acidic, kind of like a red wine. It's really really good. I really enjoy it. So moving forward, the other thing that we have here are called peaberries. I don't know if anybody is aware of what a peaberry is, but I'll zoom in on these guys. And you can see, and unfortunately I don't have a normal. Can I focus on that? There we go. So you can see there's one bean that's split. Now generally the way coffee works is inside of a cherry, which is what they call the fruit that you get the coffee bean from, you have two halves of a seed. But the peaberry, which is what we have here, doesn't split, stays together, and you end up with a bean that is much smaller than a normal coffee bean. But, and again I'll zoom in, you can see it stays together, and so it's a lot more of a potent bean. It's only about 5% of the yield, so they're a lot more special. Let me get one of these here so you can see this. You can see it's split right down the middle there. And normally, where that line is, that bean would have been cut in half, and so you'd have two beans and it'd be much bigger, but it wouldn't be near as potent. So these here, this is the bean that we were just now grinding for the last couple weeks, and we got it at the Holualoa Kona Coffee Company here in Kona. You can see it's 100% Kona coffee. You can see how it's spelled peaberry. That's their medium roast. And one of the things you can see if you just look at these two piles of beans, you can see the one on the right is darker and more oily. That's because this is more of a dark roast. Now with these peaberry beans, from what I've heard, is you should have a lighter roast so you get a better flavor from the bean. The darker the roast, the more oil, the more it's hidden, kind of like putting sauce on a steak. So we'll see if there's a difference. Now, both of these beans that we have here, and I'll talk about the other one in a second, are both hand-picked. So they are top-notch. One of the things that happens with coffee that you generally get on the mainland is beans not only are brought in from multiple farms, so they're mixed together, but they're also ripe and unripe beans. And so that's why you get such bitter coffee. I've heard it's kind of like, say, if you had a peach that was green instead of ripe, and biting into it, it wouldn't taste as good as a fresh bean, or a fresh peach, I'm sorry. And that's kind of the same thing with mainland coffee, is that you're just getting something that's not ripe. So you have to put sugar and creamer and all these other things to kind of hide that bitterness. So now I'll talk about where we went yesterday. It's Mountain Thunder Coffee, and again, like I said, this was the highest farm I could find on the island, so that's why I chose it. So, because again, altitude does matter with the flavors. Apparently, the higher the altitude, the more floral and fruity the flavors. So we are going to see if that's a thing. And you can see here, I actually got, yesterday we got the Vienna roast, where over here it's a medium roast. And again, both of these beans are hand-picked, and they're roasted in small batches. So each batch is 8 pounds or less. So they're very specific beans from very specific farms, and each roast is very specific to the bean. And again, you can see these here that we got yesterday are kind of a light brown, and these here are dark brown and oily. So I have no idea how the new ones taste, because I'm just cleaning out the old ones, because I don't want to mix the beans, so that we can actually get a good taste test tomorrow. And then, as a little bonus, I'm going to show you something else that they have here on the island that we have found and are amazing. So I'm just going to show you. It comes in a little can like this. Sometimes they come different ways. Let's see if I can, it's hot here, so it'll melt it together. So this right here, it's chocolate covered peaberry. And let me just tell you what, this, suck on out. It's so good, so good. Like I said, I didn't even like coffee before we moved here, but it's so good and fresh that you can't help it. So I will report back tomorrow and let you guys know if the higher mountain bean, which actually looks like they're slightly larger beans, tastes better than the other one. We really enjoy this farm where we got the beans from yesterday. It's run by about like 3 or 4 ladies. They do everything themselves. They pick it. They do all of the roasting themselves. They package it themselves, and that's probably about 3 miles from our house. So we really like that farm. This other farm is further up the mountain, so it's probably about 15-20 minutes from here. It's up at about 3,000 feet, where the other farm is probably around 1,500 feet. So this bean here grows at a much higher altitude, so hopefully that will produce much better flavors. And like I said, we will do a taste test and let you know tomorrow. I guess maybe I can post down here below this video tomorrow. And then as a little side note, just because maybe you saw it earlier when I was showing you my iced coffee here, we have this here that comes from Kauai. It's a Ko'ola rum. They have their Mai Tai mix and then the dark rum, so that's how I make my Mai Tais. So this is how I start my day, with a nice Kona coffee, and then I'll end it with a nice Kauai Mai Tai there. Pretty cool. Alright, aloha everybody. I hope you enjoy your coffee, because I know I did. Have a great day.